Yo, what's goody? I am Wavy. Wave back in effect this week. Last couple of days, had my birthday, took some time to celebrate. Big 3-3 Larry Bird year. Let's get it. And yeah, let's go. So I have a few women's college stories that I wanted to touch on. A couple things from the tournament and how that all played out. So I'll tie in everything into this as I kind of wrap up these last few videos I've been doing on the women's collegiate sports. So NAIA essentially bans transgender athletes from women's sports. The NAIA is similar to the NCAA. It's an organization. It stands for National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics. Says it right there at the bottom. It's not as big a platform as the NCAA. It's like comparable to Division II of the NCAA, depending on which programs you're in. A lot of them are smaller schools. A lot are faith-based schools. You know, I have a cousin that played at NAIA along with myself, so I kind of understand where this is coming from. But let's get to the story. So the NAIA governing body for mostly small colleges announced a policy Monday that all but bans transgender athletes from competing in women's sports. Right? That all but ban. All right. The NAIA Council of Presidents approved the policy unanimously in a 20-0 vote. So hats off to the NAIA for making that decision for women's safety in these sports. Like, these are women's spaces. I'm a man and I will continue advocating for women to have, you know, these safe spaces. Now, if the trans community wants to compete, they can form their own league and find and figure out however that's going to work. But to put women in harm's way, we see it with basketball. I've covered stories on field hockey, MMA, UFC. But kudos to these people for doing that. According to the transgender participation policy, all athletes may participate in NAIA-sponsored male sports, but only athletes whose biological sex assigned at birth is female and who have not begun hormone therapy will be allowed to participate in women's sports. So essentially, a cis woman, a biological woman, whatever you want to get to it. All right, which brings about this story that I wanted to cover in a separate video. This is going to be Coach Staley of the University of South Carolina. Let me back up real quick. Kudos to those women and what they were able to achieve this year, going undefeated and winning their championship. But before I get to all of that, this is going to be Coach Staley. She is a member of the alphabet community, I believe, and she's going to be asked a question on who's able to compete in these women's sports. Let's get to it.
Dan Zachowski, Outkick coach. You just talked about, what a massive weekend this is, obviously, for women's basketball, women's sports in general. One of the major issues facing women's sports right now is the discussion topic about the inclusion of transgender athletes, biological males, in women's sports. I was wondering if you would tell me your position on that issue.
Damn, you got deep on me, didn't you?
She got to take that sip of water. She got to make sure she answers it politically correct, because even her, as part of the alphabet community, a black woman, can be canceled. So let's check out what she got to say. Which I don't think is such a hard question. Should women? Let's get to her answer.
I'm under the opinion of if you're a woman, you should play. If you consider yourself a woman and you want to play sports or vice versa, you should be able to play.
Yo, man. And that's so scary, yo, because I hear so many women advocating for these transgenders to be in their spaces, and then they're the ones being affected. I even saw a story in one of the airports somewhere in the country. There's an all-gender bathrooms. Like, they're making themselves targets in this. Like, let's keep it to sports. In track and field, girls are losing scholarships and opportunities to biological boys. You know what I'm saying? In basketball, we're seeing girls. I saw there was a transgender a few weeks ago that was annihilating the girls in the competition, you know. But this is the NCAA for you.
That's my opinion. You want me to go deeper?
Do you think transgender women should be able to participate?
That's your question
in
you want me to
basketball?
ask. I mean, you want to ask, so I'll give you that. Yes. So now the barnstorm.
That is crazy. You know, if you feel like a woman, if you feel like you are a woman, then you should be able to compete against women. You know, and if you're a parent out there, you know that's a scary thing to think of. That you know in a wrestling match, in a basketball match, in something, wherever girls usually, well, wrestling, maybe they might compete against boys, but in a basketball game, you know, in a softball game, now you have potentially boys playing against your little girls. But like I said, for South Carolina, I'm trying to tie in like three things to, you know, keep it all on the women's sports. But this is going to be Cammie Cardoso, who ended up winning MVP from the championship game. 6'7", absolute unit in the middle. All right, absolute unit. And Iowa never stood a chance. I mean, she was damn near able to rattle Caitlin Clark without even leaving the paint. You know what I'm saying? She damn near put her hands up and could block Caitlin Clark, who's on the outside. Because she's 6'7". She's like LeBron James height, you know. But it is exciting to see what all of these women are bringing to the WNBA and what it means for the future of the WNBA. We recently had Ionescu. There's Caitlin Clark. There's Cardoso here. There's the point guard on LSU, the little one. So the future of the WNBA looks bright. You know what I'm saying? But the future of college sports in the NAIA looks even brighter. You know, where women can actually fill these spaces. I know it's not going to be at the same level as the NCAA. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I compare it to Division II if you had a good program. But, you know, hey, at least you know that you'll be safe, you know, because the NCAA continues to go woke, and I'll get to that in a little bit. All right, so only NAIA student athletes whose biological sex is female may participate in NAIA-sponsored female sports. And then they clarified biological sex is defined by distinguishing characteristics and can be supported by birth certificate or signed affidavits. We are unwavering in our, and this is going to be the CEO, Jim Carr, and the NAIA president and CEO. We are unwavering in our support of fair competition for our student athletes. It is crucial that NAIA member institutions, conferences, and student athletes participate in an environment that is equitable and respectful, with input from our member institutions and the Transgender Task Force. The NAIA's Council of Presidents has confirmed our path forward. So kudos, like real big out and shout out to them, because, you know, we haven't seen many institutions or leagues come out and just all out ban it. You know, a lot of places are leaving it up to the teams and leaving it up to the players. Like, I like this precedent. Hopefully the NCAA follows it. I doubt they will. Okay, this is going to be a former WNBA player, Val Whiting. Trans women do not belong in women's sports. It is not fair nor safe for biological women. All right. All right, let's get to this. The NAIA just banned trans women athletes. Harvard can't let the NCAA follow. Okay, and this is going to be something to keep following the story for, you know, because these woke institutions don't want that to happen. The NCAA, with its sponsors and all that, don't want it to happen. You know, they'd rather keep the leagues or you know, the girls' leagues with runners that look like this, you know, and this, that biologically are men. Okay, biologically have quick reflex, quick twitch muscles, longer muscles to, you know, for striding and all that. You know, even Leah Thomas, we know what he's been able to do, or she's, or it's what they've been able to do in women's swimming. You know, a guy that wasn't even doing well when he was competing with his biological sex, he was average, to dominating at the collegiate, in the women's level. So today, the NAIA approved an unprecedented ban on the participation of transgender women in a move that could pressure other major governing bodies of athletics, including the NCAA, to follow suit. According to, and I've read through that quite a few times. It also clarifying. It also includes athletes who have begun any masculinizing hormone therapy. Nor does it. It also excludes. This ban comes amid increased scrutiny over trans bodies in sports and an explosion of trans legislation across the country. To date, at least 24 states have enacted policies restricting transgender participations in sports, 18 of which restrict participation in college sports in particular. So shout out to those organizations, those states doing what they got to do to protect women. I don't understand why, even in Coach Staley's case, it's women defending the bullshit. Like, honestly, I mean, I'm not trying to be transphobic and stuff, but I don't want to be woman-phobic either. Like, I just don't like seeing them being dominated the way they are in their respective fields. Even if you want to count what's the country? Germany? It was some country where they recently had a transgender and all that. There were no women there that could have won the title, but let's stick to sports. That's really all I got to say on this. Shout out to the NAIA for stepping up and doing what they're doing to protect women in their spaces. Shout out to all of the organizations around the country that are doing that. I hope to see the NCAA and other big, prominent organizations step up like this, because, by empowering the transgenders, you're just taking power away from women. That's kind of messed up to me. Shout out to South Carolina and what they were able to do in the women's championship, and, even having a whole undefeated season. Shout out to Coach Staley and her coaching and all that. And that's really all I got to say on it. Let me know whatever y'all think about it. Do you think your team didn't win, or Iowa deserved to win, or whatever, in terms of the who won the championship, in terms of should women be allowed to play women's sports? And if you feel like a woman, then you should be allowed to compete, according to Coach Staley. Maybe she didn't put it as, or I didn't put it as eloquently as she did, but if that's what you think, I'm interested to know. Or and then what do you think about, the NAIA banning transgenders in women's sports? Are they being transphobic? Are they, not trying to give trans people the rights that they deserve? Interested to know whatever y'all think about it. This is my first video of the week after a couple days off, so y'all be easy and stay wavy.